मुसाफिर हूँ यारो, ना घर है ना ठिकाना, मुझे चलते जाना है, बस चलते जाना. Wondering why we're singing this song? Well, the song might be old, but it's very applicable to what we're discussing today: gigs, where we may not have a permanent office address or a job designation, but we keep moving in our careers and growing in our careers from gig to gig. Welcome to ET Careers GenNext, where we will be decoding the questions of careers today and tomorrow. And I'm Devlina, and I'll try to bring you the answers. Today, we're talking about gigs. Well, to get started, I was researching this topic gigs, and what I found is that it started off with musicians and comedians who would just do that one gig, right, in a particular location before moving on. From that, today, in terms of gig or freelancing economy, it's become a massive economy globally. And according to certain reports, in the near future, over 50% of jobs could be generated by gigs. But the question which often people have: A, I love the flexibility of a gig, but B, can it really become a career? Well, if that's the question you have, let's bring you some of the answers. According to ILO, International Labour Organization, when you come to certain kind of gig jobs such as driving or delivery, over 80-90% of these jobs today are created by tech-enabled gig platforms. This is globally. And when it comes to certain other very skill-based gig jobs, about 33% of these are created by tech-enabled jobs, tech-enabled platforms. Now, let's double down on these kind of gig jobs. What are these? This could be marketing, this could be sales, this could be finance, this could be content, this could be design, of course. Many of these skills which professionals have, which are really required by companies, but which might be done as a gig or as a project. Now, if you are one of these people, how do you really kind of do this and set up your skills and your gig? Before we answer that, let's look at this question from the company's point of view. Does gig make sense for the companies, and why? Well, there are two ways to look at it. One is from the cost angle. Of course, as a company has certain projects where they need very high quality skills, but they don't know what is the long-term outcome of the project, and they might be doing pilots or they might be scaling up in certain areas. Gigs might make perfect sense. There are certain projects where you really need certain skills which are unique, and you can bring in part-time projects or gig economy workers to help you in that. There are people who might prefer to work in that way, even on a long-term basis, and many people today do because of flexibility it offers, and also because of the skills you can add to your game, right? You're keeping on adding to your skills. Say if you're a designer, by working on multiple types of design projects, could be animation, could be cartoons, etc. Right? So you become a more well-rounded professional by keeping on adding to your skill set. So gig from both sides, therefore, might be an opportunity area for people and for companies. Especially startups, which are high growth today, and many of them have got benefits from the government and through the government policies, again might be an area which could be stabilizing this entire idea of gigs. Many of them actually look for support in the early growth stages in specific areas, and where a gig kind of economy, a way of working could make perfect sense. The biggest reason why this is becoming more normalized today is because COVID has proven to us all that armed with digital access, a mobile, a computer, a network, we literally can work from anywhere, we literally can deliver from anywhere if we have the right skills. And of course, in India, with the help of the government initiatives, more and more people are getting the access, even in rural areas. Government has been doing work with ISRO, with Google, and more networks are available, smartphones are available for people to actually set up shop from anywhere. At the same time, of course, it's not easy. So let's now talk about how do you really get started if you want to be a gig worker. Step one, of course, is a skill, right? A skill which is repeatable, a skill which is in demand, a skill which can actually keep building your career, right? We mentioned some of these could be marketing, sales, finance, design, content, etc. So identify that skill and make sure that you can do a great job in it, and you can keep building your portfolio in that skill. But having a skill is good, but not enough in the gig world, because you're often always also looking for new work. So how do we actually make that part of getting new work easier? That's where what we need to do is build a network. We can do it formally or informally. So professional setups like LinkedIn, YouTube, of course, through their policies can help people connect and build strong networks, and also celebrate people who have done that very successfully. But at the same time, there are certain platforms such as Upwork, Freelancing It, Fiverr. We can set ourselves up there and we can showcase our portfolio, showcase ratings from past projects, and that makes it easier for people searching for just those skills to find us and to give us the right quality and kind of work. So that's the way to actually set up. Now, while setting up, another part which often gets mixed is that there is a regular work which freelancers and gig economy workers in this kind of professional work have to do, which is invoices. They have to understand when what invoice is due, kind of write up that invoice, send it, make sure it's scanned, signed, sent, etc. Make sure payments are coming back on time, make sure taxes are filed on time. And this is a very painful part of the work because the person is a single person army, right? We create the invoice, we do the work, we pay the tax, we make the proposal, etc. So it's good to get help early in this area if you are not extremely organized and very well planned in terms of the financial skills. Get the help. There are certain platforms like InstaMojo, Razorpay, which allow you to do automated invoices. So that is one method. And the other method is work with a professional CA firm once you have a regular stream of income to make sure that part of the work is easier and you can only focus on your skills and your delivery. At the same time, the other part which is important is financial literacy. How do you really build a strong financial literacy, personal financial plan? Because you won't be having that one check at the end of the month. So the way we look at it is, have an emergency fund for the 6 months so that, in case there is any uncertainty today or tomorrow, you can manage expenses with that. Second is to make sure that there are some of the coverages like health, life, basic insurance term coverage, which are there for you and your family. And third is have a goal-based saving plan. It could be retirement, it could be children's education, but having a goal-based saving plan really makes it more sustainable for us while we are enjoying the gig kind of way of working and the flexibility it offers. Now, while some of these are ways in which we get started, there are of course still challenges which need to be sorted out. Some of the benefits are obviously not at par with people who work in a single job. The government has been looking into this and coming up with a Social Security Act, and hopefully, in the next few years, this part will also get sorted where people who are working in gigs also get minimum support in terms of their in terms of their income and coverage. Also, they get easier access to things like loans, which sometimes is also a problem because people look for salary slip and we cannot give salary slip if we work in a gig or a project mode. Second and most important part of the challenge to overcome is our own learning. In a corporate setup, people will invest probably and they will have trainings which we can attend and improve our skills. But in the gig sector, we have to be a self-learner. If there's something new in that area of work, for example, in content, tomorrow if there are automated ways of doing content through, say, a tool like GPT-3, we should research, we should find out, we should know. When our clients come to us, we should be able to advise them on what's the best in class and what's the future, what's the best way to do it. So they will come to us for consultation, and the more we can show them we know our game, easier it is for us to also get other projects in that area. So that's really it about gigs. Why, the what, the how do you get started, the challenges, etc. And we do believe in the next few years, many more people will opt for gig and freelancing careers, and the more power to each and every person doing that. With that, I will finish with the last line of the song I started with. मुझे चलते जाना है, सिर्फ चलते जाना. That's the motto of the gig worker. Thank you so much.